Great awakening, you beautiful brave hearts all over the world. I'm Dr. Wolfe, and today's one-a-day is this. Dr. Wolfe, that's too brutal, too harsh, to the point. That's way too much of the truth. Okay, so I've said this before, the truth is a hard pill to swallow. And it's a hard pill to swallow. Do you know why? Because you've been lied to all your life. All right? Whether you want to believe this or not, the medical system is so far off track. Okay? And then the natural health system, everybody strokes everyone. Everyone strokes everyone. When people call me, I talk to them with unconditional love. They ask me a question, and then I give them the honest to God's truth. I don't speak to people to be harsh, to be brutal. And everybody says, oh my gosh, tell me the truth, why don't you? Well, I said to a lady just now, well, what else do you want me to tell you? I said, I'm talking in a soft voice. I'm telling you the truth, and you're offended by it. And she goes, you know what? I know it sounds like it. I didn't mean to be, but nobody ever tells me the truth. I'm going to tell you something right now. These are 2 calls I just took. I can give you hundreds of calls because I give my phone number out all the time. I give free information and support to everyone. But I tell everyone, guess what? You're not going to get well. You're going to stay in this hell unless you have strategy. Do you ever understand something? That everybody's running around in circles. They do some of this, they do some of that. Oh, I tried this, I did this. When you get a perfect day strategy from me, I'm telling you, you get unlimited support. You can call me as often as you want. I'm not trying to pitch myself, but you don't get that. What naturopathic doctor, what natural health doctor, what functional medicine doctor, what medical doctor is going to give you their phone number and say, call as often as you want. Don't text me, because guess what? We're in this together, and we're going to get you to the finish line. Understand, I don't care about the money. All right? What I charge is so much less than anybody charges with my background. And it's true. I charge $250. I'm not trying to say I'm the nice guy or anything. I'm trying to tell you I get it. It's tough out there. But understand, I don't just do $250. Go to any functional medicine doctor, naturopathic doctor, and they're going to charge you way more. And guess what? I'm not putting them down. And they're going to give you a bunch of supplements, and then you get to go home and take them and see if you can get in touch with them. That's how that works. Understand that. I'm going to tell you something. So let's take this lady, this beautiful lady. She goes, you know what? I've been following you now for 3 years. I'm going, okay. And she goes, and I got in touch with you, and you gave me the number, and that was 3 months ago. I've just been too busy, though. So anyway, she's got a lump in her breast, okay? And she went and did some kind of test, which was just totally goofy. Just know this, I don't believe in most of the medical tests that are going on there. And most of you are going to test yourself crazy. That's what you're going to do. You're going to test yourself crazy. I mean, you know how you look. You know how you feel. You know that your body's sending you love messages and telling you that you're not in alignment. And understand something, everything you've learned about health is a lie. And if it's not about lie, it's a twisted truth. Okay, so she goes, okay, so I've got this lump. And she says, I bought this product from you. And I said, well, did you get a consult from me? No, not yet. And I said, strategy is the most important thing. It's better you spend the $250 than spending hundreds of dollars and just randomly taking what's on the bottle. Because understand something, everything that is on a bottle is actually minimum dosage. And if you've got something that's growing in you, okay, and it's the size of a small tangerine and it's in your breast, okay, all right, we need to talk about this. You need to do things like Wolfe non-surgical to pull that fibroid apart. You need to do things like Cellsonic to bring the energy back in. But did you do the ultimate coffee enema? Are you taking the daily cleansing tea in black gold? Because guess what? You can't have a breast problem unless you have an ovarian problem. And then we didn't even get to the fact that understand if it was the right or the left breast, it'll all depend on what emotional crisis she's not dealing with in her life. You think I'm kidding? Guess what? Go watch The Emotional Chemistry of Cancer, Disease, and Healing in my free app called the Braveheart Nation app. Go to the Evolve section. All the master classes are free, and there's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in there free for you. So anyways, I said to her, well, hold on. Okay. Don't go through everything. Oh, well, they want me to do surgery. They want me to do chemo. I always get that stuff. And I go, but I don't want to do it. And I said, well, then don't do it if you don't want to do it. But you got to take massive action, and you need a strategy. I said, so then she's telling me a whole bunch of stuff that she's doing and what she's done. And I said, we need to start right here in this spot. How old are you? She told me how old she was. Then she told me her weight, and then she told me her height. She's 5'3" and she's 170 pounds, guys, okay? So you do know that she's at least, 55 pounds overweight, infection and inflammation. And she goes, oh my gosh, and I went to this functional medicine doctor, I went to this naturopathic doctor, now I'm seeing a homeopath, and I go, okay, yeah, but here's the thing, okay? What's your weight, what's your height? And I go, you do know that you're 55 pounds of infection and inflammation. Oh my God, do you have to be so brutal? I go, really? That's brutal? What, none of these guys told you that you're 55 pounds overweight? No. They didn't say anything about that. And understand something, isn't it great, okay? I get it. The majority of the population is overweight and obese. Tell me the majority of the population isn't fat and like have way too much fat cells. The fatter you are, the sicker you are up here, and the sicker you are here. So you have emotional immaturity in here, but you can't get a handle on it because you don't understand. I tell you this all the time, that your subconscious just runs programs. And because you've acted like you do all your life, you consider your personality normal. But I'll tell you, in no way is it healthy. Okay? So I said to her, I'm being brutal? I said, that's 55 pounds of infection and inflammation. Understand, I said, we need to deal with this. Okay, so I was talking to another lady this morning, and she called and she said, I have a son, he's 13 years old, and he's on the spectrum. I asked her a few questions. I said, he's not on the spectrum. He's malnourished and toxic. You know what? Enough of the medical system. Enough. He's on the spectrum. You know, if he's on the spectrum, it sounds like something really difficult. And I said to her, you do know that your son is just toxic and malnourished. And that if you knew how to look after yourself and feed yourself and take care of yourself, you could teach your son how to do that. And she goes, that sounds logical. Yeah, but nobody's ever taught me this. I go, I get it. Nobody's taught you this. Nobody knows this. I mean, the craziest thing is, I know you don't want to believe me, everybody, but 1 out of 1,000 people actually know kind of what health really is. I'm not kidding. Maybe 1 out of 3,000 people actually have nailed it. I'm not making this up. You know, it's the craziest thing. People will come to me with a condition and, you know, they keep doing what everybody else is doing and just getting really crappy results. I'm never going to give you crappy results, and I can stand here in my power, okay? All right? And understand something. You're not going to find a practitioner that talks like me or works like me and does what I do, because I am a Braveheart, okay? I'm going to tell you something right now. I want you to repeat what I'm going to say. I am no longer waiting for permission from my family or anyone else to become powerful. Say that. Let me see you say that. Because guess what? You want to fit in, you're going to get done in. You want to go the beaten path, you're going to get beat. I am no longer apologizing to my family or anyone else for shining my light bright or the space I take up. Well, if you think that I'm going to dumb myself down to everyone as a practitioner, I'm going to tell it like it is and understand something. You know what? There has never been a time in history where the truth is brutal, where the truth is harsh, where you've hurt my feelings. You know, there's only one virus, and that's victimitis. There's never been a vaccine, okay, that was there for you to be healed. And there's never been a virus that they've isolated and they can actually show you. Did you hear what I just said? So everything is BS out there. And as soon as you tell people things, it's like this. You know, you're like 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, and you've invested that much time into bull crap. And it's like, you should be able to give it up like this if you were the master of your emotions, but you're not. This is a slave planet. Only 1 out of 10,000 people do I want to hang out with or even work with me. I am not putting anybody down. This has been a slave planet since it was created. And it's going to remain a slave planet because guess what? Oh, that's so brutal. Oh, I can't handle the truth. It's a hard pill to swallow. And this is where we're at today. I'm okay with it. I've only got so much time. I only want to work with the people that are going to take massive personal action. And they understand that they were created by God Almighty and they can heal from anything. And they are going to find their brave heart. You know, I've got even my practitioners, I teach them. Like right now, we have 3 people here at the DOD 5-star. And when they come, they get my empathy because they've been programmed to kill themselves before they got here. But the reality is they're not going to get my sympathy. I'm going to hold the line for them because they are more. Okay? They're allowed to cry. They're allowed to break down. But they need to tell me what they want, not what they don't want. And why they can't handle their life. We need to figure out on how we can change this program in here. Okay? How about this one? I'm no longer shrinking, okay? Shrinking down to make everybody comfortable. Understand something. The biggest names in health around the world respect me. A lot of health practitioners will not respect me, and the majority of the population will never respect me. So that's okay. I get it. I never wanted to fit in. I don't want to work with the majority of the population. The majority of the population wants the burner turned down, not off. The majority of the population wants someone to say it's going to be okay. Well, it's not going to be okay, and you're going to pay with your spirit, your physical, your nutritional, and your financial wealth. It'll all be gone. If you want a guy, and I'm not after your money. I mean, I've got a patient here right now, and she wants to move forward and do much more therapy. And I said, no, you're not. You're too inflamed. You bring your inflammation down on an emotional and physical level, and then I will go in and we will do deeper work with you. But understand this. The more inflammation you have, the less healing power you have. And the more inflammation you have on a physical level, it's because you have it on an emotional level. How do you program and get through to people who have been so disrespected, maybe raped, okay, emotionally, raped physically, okay, have been put down so often by their family, seriously? You stay patient with them, but you hold the line for them. You don't feel sorry for them. You feel for them, and you understand where they're coming from, and then you hold the line, and you let them know that you got them. But if they want a brave heart, we're going to go further. What else are you going to say to yourself today? I am the healer. I am the brave heart hero. I have been searching for all my life. And unless you want to become that, then you are never going to ever experience what you could have had on this planet. And that's what I teach. I'm not after having 1,000 or 10,000 people in an auditorium. You know, I've got a course coming up right now in Stuart, Florida, and we're going to max out at 24 or 25 people. That's it. Because when they leave, they're going to be personally touched on all levels, and they're going to understand that, guess what? Their families are government agents. Their spouse is a government agent. What am I talking about? Well, guess what? Just because you want to change, just because you want to be the hero, just because you want an authentic personality, okay, not one to fit in because you're going to get done in, guess what? It doesn't mean your spouse, your children, or anybody's going to come along with you. And if you could have held the line for 9 months to a year, okay, you would have infected everyone around you, your family and friends, okay, with what? With your authenticity, which is what? 200% stronger, okay, than any love you could ever feel. Authenticity is the strongest emotion we will ever have on this planet. And I am authentic. I do not mean to hurt anyone, but guess what? I will lovingly hold the line and tell people the truth. I'm not going to not. You know what? Seriously, I didn't become this because I needed a job. This has always been my passion and my purpose. My grandfather first died, he passed on with colon cancer. And understand what a wake-up call at 17 doing an enema on him. My mother and father, they both passed on from that too. My uncle passed on from heart disease. And understand, whether you want to believe this or not, I don't care. I was their best practitioner. I was just in my 20s, my later 20s with my parents. I was the best practitioner they had. I was truthful. We got rid of my father's leukemia, okay? All right, and you're not going to believe it. And we had the tests to prove it. I still do. 6 weeks, we reversed it. He came with cold sores on his lips, yellow in his eyes. His skin was yellow. He was in a wheelchair when he flew in. They said he had 2 weeks to live. But see, I can't take responsibility for my parents' personality. As soon as we reversed it, my father went back to the same old lifestyle, ate the same old way. I'm not going to get into the personal part of it. He didn't change his personality, so he wasn't going to change his reality. 9 months later, he's got leukemia again. He comes back to me. This time, guess what? It wasn't 6 weeks. It took us 4 months to turn it around. And the third time, he never made it to me. My mother, when she came to me, and you can believe it or don't believe it, doesn't really matter. I was 28 years old. I'll be 68. And I'll tell you something, in the health business, I'm a rock star. I do things that other practitioners don't do. And understand this, other practitioners are only going to go so far because guess what? Their programs don't work. They're too superficial. They don't get into the emotional. They don't get into the spirit of the person. They don't hold the line for the person. Oh, and try to get in touch with them. Naturopathic doctor, functional medicine doctor, medical doctor, try to call them. Try to call them after you do a consult and see if there's a follow-up. I tell everyone, you call me every couple of days, every 2 to 3 days. I need to hear from you, whether you're doing good or bad or indifferent. This is how we win this thing. So you know what you got to say. I will be the light for my family, okay? I will hold the line. And they will be healthy, okay, again. They will be healthy again. Because everybody comes to me, you know what they say? I hope you know I used to be an athlete. Well, almost everybody can say that. And you weren't an athlete. You pissed away your vitality, okay? And because what happened was you followed the herd. The herd will never be heard. The herd will always go to the butchers. They will always be sold off by the pound. And that's the way it is on this planet. I don't care who's in office, who you believe in, but understand something. I want to be wrong. And I want you to someday say, look, you're wrong. And I'll tell you something. Do you know why I give unlimited support? Because we wouldn't help anyone if we didn't. Because we have to change this to change this. And everybody just wants to buy our nutraceuticals because they are the best in the world. But we've got to change this or they're going to keep on having to buy tons of them from me. And then guess what? Then I am a snake oil salesman. And the reality is this. If you're any kind of a practitioner, I mean a naturopath, functional medicine doctor, I don't care what you're into. But if you call yourself a natural health practitioner, you should be having your phone so that they can call you as often as they need to. Because guess what? People, it's not like they know what real health is, because they don't. They actually have been programmed to actually make themselves sick and their family sick. I feel for every woman out there that is born with that caring, that nurturing. and she comes here and she's got to listen to the bullshit, okay? And she gets told all this stuff by the medical system, the healthcare system, and also health practitioners that don't know what they're talking about. I'm talking about natural health practitioners that really don't know. And then guess what? What do women feel like? Because they feel like the caregivers of the family, of the husband or their spouse. What do they feel like? Failures. By the time they're 40, they feel like an empty shell. And it's just not fair. I want to honor every woman in this world. And I want you to understand something. I promise you, and I'll give you a money back guarantee, you spend an hour with me, I'll lay it out to you, and then you can call me as much as you want. And understand something, I charge $250. Seriously? Seriously. But the reality is we need to have a $250 because most people aren't worth a nickel 95, and that's because they've been brutally, emotionally, okay, mentally beat up by their parents, okay, by their peers, by the so-called authority out there, because most of them, okay, are emotionally immature. That's right. Why don't you go to the hospital, go to a doctor and find out if you don't want to do the chemo or the radiation or take their antibiotics. They'll kick you out of their office. Or you have to lie to them. You'll never have to lie to me. You could have been working with me for a year, and if we only made this much headway, at least we made that much headway. But if I could get you to understand 1% today, 1% today is all we need to do. And in 100 days, that's 100%. And then we'll start all over again because you have unlimited possibility. You can cure the incurable. You can change the impossible into I am possible. So understand, just say this out loud and say it proud. I am no longer waiting for permission from my family or anyone else to become powerful, to become my authentic self. And I'll tell you something, it's going to take work, all right? If you can ever come to one of my whole life health certified courses, I've got one in Stewart. The next one's not until October here in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico. I will give you a 3-day money back, cash back guarantee that I will bring you where you have never been before or where you were when you were 4 or 5 years old, when you still were allowed to love, honor, and respect yourself. But now it's just a selfish act. I want everyone to have the best day of their life every day. But until you understand that you must become the master programmer of every belief, every program that you run. And if you want to keep on compromising yourself for approval, and if you keep taking things personal, well, you can kiss your butt goodbye. And understand something, buckle up, because it's not going to get any better. And understand, most people will say to me, well, Dr. Wolfe, I'm in the process. I said, the process that you're taking, you'd have to live until you were 500 years old. And if you didn't notice, what you used to get away with, you can't get away with anymore. You know, you should have had emotional intelligence training way before now, and it's not your fault. But guess what? You can believe it or not believe it, but, you know, we might be looking at like 1 out of 10,000 people that are actually emotionally mature. And that means this, no matter what goes on, or if you don't get your own way, you don't yell, swear, stomp your feet, walk away. You don't play love ransom. You don't do that stuff. And you know what? And stop complaining about your medical doctor, how he's not healing you. They're not there to heal you. They're not to feel you. And what I mean is they're there to give you drugs which don't heal, to help numb you out. Because you haven't learned that unless you're going to take massive personal action and find your authentic personality and have an understanding that that which we call God creator has never left us. It's inside of us. It's what we are. That's what we are. You know what? It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Rise up, Braveheart, and take your place. Learn how to love and care for yourself like you've never done before. Pretend that you were just birthed and that you are going to love this little baby and you are going to care for this little baby. But guess what? It's time to grow up and stop being a baby. It's time to stop having a temper tantrum. Because see, what the world's done is said you can have it all. And then they've given you strategies and protocols where you'll never have it all. You'll feel like you're almost there, but you'll never get there. It's a setup. So if you fit in with your family, if you fit in with a bunch of friends, if you fit in with a group, just know you're going to get done in, okay? You'll know when you're on the right track, when everybody's going, what, our food isn't good enough for you? Our friendship isn't good enough for you? Oh, this isn't good enough for you? Oh, and if you think that's a problem, wait till you start really unconditionally loving yourself and filling up your own heart, and you're not using anyone else to do it, because that's how we hold each other ransom. Just give it a thought, okay? Just give it a thought, and then go check out my Braveheart 12 Loving Steps in the BHN app if you want to watch the videos. And if you don't, download the Perfect Day Guide at pdgfree.com. I don't know, I've given so much away free, you know. If you were to dive in, I promise you, if you dove into my master classes in my Evolve section, you'll learn more than you've learned your whole life. And I'm telling that to every doctor out there. That's right. Okay? 1 and 1 are 2. Let's bring some logic and let's bring some self-love, self-care into the picture. And say this, I am no longer waiting for permission from my family or my friends or anyone else on this planet to become powerful. God bless and have a beautiful day.